When we place Canada in a global context, we learn that Canada is among the richest nations in the world, even though many individuals within Canada can't afford the basics of survival. According to Statistics Canada, low-income cutoffs, or LICOs, are income thresholds determined by analyzing family expenditure data below which families will devote a larger share of income to the necessities of food, shelter, and clothing than the average family would. Several LICOs are calculated to account for differences in the cost of necessities depending on the type of community and the size of family. 5 categories of community size and 7 categories of family size are used by Statistics Canada. Child poverty numbers have not improved in Canada since 1989. Parliament passed a resolution to end child poverty in that year, and since then, little has been done to reduce or end child poverty in Canada. Census data show that poverty rates for certain groups of children are much higher than the average rate. So immigrant children, those in single-parent families, and of course Aboriginal children are amongst the groups where the highest rate of child poverty occurs. In 2011, about 3 million Canadians, or 9% of the population, had annual incomes that put them below the StatsCan LICO. In Ontario in 2014, well over 500,000 children under the age of 18 years, or about 19% of those children in Ontario, lived in poverty, and rates were double for Indigenous children. That is, around 40% of Indigenous children in Canada live in poverty. Now, another measure of poverty is the Market Basket Measure, MBM, from HRDC. In Toronto, for example, in 2014, a family of 4 MBM, Market Basket Measure, was around $35,648. Below that amount, a family would be considered to be living in poverty. Canada's record on child poverty is pretty dismal. According to 2012 UNICEF survey, Canada ranked 24th out of 35 economically advanced nations for the percentage of children between the ages of 0 and 17 years who live in poverty. Another indication is the extent to which individuals rely on food banks. So in 2014, in Canada, over 1/3 of individuals who were helped in food banks each month were children. There's a growing reliance on food banks and emergency shelters amongst Canadians, especially in Alberta, where it increased 23% between 2014 and 2015 due to the world economic crisis in oil.